singing. Drinking's about to start, but Colin said that I should mention if anybody had any questions about the meaning of life. I can do that. I can't do anything to do with love or relationships, as you can tell from the song, so don't ask any of those questions. Anything about Leonard Cohen I can probably answer, or I can bluff probably better than anybody in the room if I can't. So you're going to get quiet now.
What does he do for fun?
Plays the ukulele.
Does he play it still?
No, he doesn't actually. Or am I talking in a mic to you, but people might hear. No, really, he's a bit of a workaholic.
So he's full on.
He's full on the whole time. He's always working, if he's not meditating. Or standing on his head. He can stand on his head, he does yoga. But that isn't really for fun. It's all part of the discipline of being Leonard Cohen. But he's a very funny guy. In fact, when you're hanging with him, it's like kind of, one minute it's like you're talking to Abraham or Moses or something, and the next minute it's more like Benny Hill. It's very cheeky. His sense of humour is very cheeky. That was a question. I think everybody up here has to ask me questions. How about you? Okay.
I think one in a minute.
All right. Then we have 1 minute's worth of questions from the audience, or?
Who's the weirdest person you've actually interviewed?
Weirdest?
Weirdest.
It's kind of weird to ask about weird, because most people in this business, as you can tell, are slightly odd. So there's usually more difficult. I think probably one of the weirdest was Arthur Lee of the group Love. But that's mostly because he took a gun out, which wasn't usual. So he was very strange, and he'd just come out of prison, so that probably sort of fed into that. But he was kind of strange. I think the most unpleasant weird one was some heavy metal guy in a death metal band who had a crucifix branded on his head. So that was weird, but mostly some people are a bit more difficult than others, that's all. But the most difficult was probably Lou Reed and Van Morrison. The two, obviously Lou's gone now, but had he been alive and those two had an arm wrestle match over who was the most difficult and unpleasant person in rock music, this could go on to eternity because neither of them really win. But both of them great musicians, and so even if they're difficult humans, they're always really interesting to talk to. The more difficult, the better, really. Weird. Actually, I had a weird experience with Frank Zappa. Now they're all my weird things are coming back, and I kind of need some trauma therapy. But I went to his house, and he was working on some experiments in his studio of music. He was trying to devise musical notes that would actually have a physical impact on people. And he was saying that if I play this note for like about 3 minutes, you will desperately need to take a pee. He was right, but nonetheless, it could have been a coincidence. And so he was just really working on all this stuff, and he said that the American government would be really keen to get this because they could torture people, like I guess in Guantanamo Bay, we will make you pee unless you tell us what's going on. But that was a long time before Guantanamo.
Well, that thought of a question.
You thought of a question?
Well,
how
I mean, one of
excellent.
the strangest people I would imagine, very creative, was Captain Beefhouse. Did you ever meet him?
No, I never did meet him. No, I did some
Yeah,
demos with one of his...
I put him together with Frank Zappa, that's the reason.
Oh, of course, they do go to... No, I actually never met him. It was... he'd already moved out, I think, to the desert and was out there. But somebody who did the demo of one of these songs I didn't sing, which is hard act to follow. The first demo was done by one of his musicians.
Yeah.
Had a laptop.
He had a lot of good slide musicians, didn't he? I think.
And he had very good taste in musicians, as did Zappa, but he was much easier on his musicians than Zappa, who kind of made sure that none of them drank, none of them misbehaved, none of them used drugs.
I saw him at the stadium, he had about 7 slide guitars, this was amazing sound.
That seems about 6 too many for one band, really.
Possibly, yeah. But that was
time.
Captain Beefheart.
No, I have to admit, he was the one who got away. I never spoke to him, but, great admiration. I wished he had, but he's now not with us, obviously. But probably the first weird experience I had in music was going on the road with Black Sabbath. And I'd only just sort of started in the business, and I think it was the music magazine equivalent of leaving babies on the mountain in, was it Sparta or some Greek place, to see if they survived, and say, if you can survive going on the road with Black Sabbath. And they were absolute sweethearts. They were really good company, completely nuts, but very well behaved. And there were some great adventures on that tour, which was the year that 1978, so it was the year that Black Sabbath broke up before the many reunions. And at that time, the band that was opening for them had just started, they just got their record deal and just put an album out, and that was Van Halen. So you got this kind of young band coming up and the older band coming down, and me in the middle of the craziness. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to write a book about yourself?
No, never do. I always turn that down. I like writing about other people. It's so much more fun writing about other people, you know? And some of those books are just so unbearable. Hey, look at me, you know, look at what I did. And plus, you know, some of the stories are great to tell when you're sitting around with a group of friends and people, but you don't really want to put it out in the world, you know.
But we want to read it, so...
Well, you just have to keep coming back and I'll tell you them gradually and you can, you know, have your own mental...
Have somebody should write a book about you.
Yes.
That's the way around
Who
it.
would you have write it?
Leonard Cohen could write a book
well, you know, this is a very good point, but I was thinking, you know, after I'd sort of spent a year going around singing his songs, the least he could do was spend a few months singing mine. Has he offered? No. I think that would be lovely, but no, I think he's probably got more things on his mind right now. He's still right. He's got him working on a new album again already. Can't stop the man right now. So I don't know, got quite a lot going on. And he's smoking again. He took up smoking on his 80th birthday.
Oh,
Wow.
That was good. You know, he said you've got to have some vices when you get older. So it's back on the CDs. Yeah, when you get to 80, you know, that's like
Keep them going.
what was that?
Keep them going.
Well, I don't know why he ever gave up. Maybe he thought it would make his voice a bit deeper, but it can't get any lower than it is now. Any more questions? No?
Who's your go-to band, you know, when you're in the house and there's a record that goes on the turntable?
Oh, well, that's impossible, because if you're a music journalist, apart from the fact that you're so obsessed with music, you've got everything from childhood on that you've kept. It keeps coming in, and the new stuff, a lot of it's still good, you know.
But you've got a go-to band.
Go-to band. Well, it depends on my moods. When I want sad songs, which is most of the time, I've got a whole bunch of people that I go to. And they're probably the same as everybody. And I still play Beatles. I play Hard Day's Night a lot.
Oh, yeah, great.
That's an album I never seem to take off. And also Nick Drake, you know, nice sort of sad, sweet stuff. And all of those things are great. I still put Stones on and sort of rock out in the privacy of my own home with the blinds down. Dance like nobody is definitely watching. In the days of YouTube, you have to be really careful. You know, in the good old days, you could get away with all of these things with nobody actually capturing it. So a lot of the old stuff I still go to, and a lot of the new bands, I really like a group called Midlake. Well, I did until they lost their singer recently. Now they're a bit, not quite the way they were. I play them a lot, and I love Jeff Buckley. So again, most of the stuff is
That's
pure.
understand.
Yeah. I like Tim Buckley too, I play a lot of his albums. So mostly kind of sad stuff or rocking around the house. But I still like a bit of metal sometimes, you know. You know, there's times when you really need it, and also just good hard rock. I love putting AC/DC on. Weird stuff about his drummer. Did you read all that stuff? Yeah, very
So
strange.
yeah.
Or I think he's doing a kind of Phil Spector defence and sort of pretending he's nuts, because apparently he climbed on the back of his roadie when
That's
he
right,
left
he
them.
did, yeah.
So I think they're trying for that, but it didn't work with Phil Spector. So Phil Rudd, please behave.
I want to sing like David Coverdale, just once.
No, you don't really.
No, just once.
Because David Coverdale just wanted to sing like Robert Plant.
No, but I want to do it in church.
This is getting really good. Would you sing a hymn or?
Oh yeah. Just do
Which
something. Oh yeah. I think I do Mistreated.
Okay.
And I'm regaling against the Catholic Church in David
Okay.
Coverdale's work.
I could see, you know, the next hymn will be From Slippery When Wet. I don't really know if that's so good. Any more questions? Then what I should do is I will close with one of the songs that I mentioned, if I can.